A few weeks ago, we went to coffee together with a group of guys from Villa, and Nathan, who preached a couple weeks ago, was sharing this about, reaching people, and then Travis began sharing his story about how he came to Christ, how he started coming to Villa, and that type of thing. And so I asked him, it's like, would you be open to this kind of sharing that story that we talked about that day? And so I called him, and he said, yeah, I'd be happy to. I told him, just pretend that you guys aren't even out here. But I think it's important for our church to hear stories of the gospel working. So we'll preach about the gospel this morning, as we do every week, but to see that impacting lives and lives changed for eternity are just important for us to hear. So welcome, Travis.
Awesome.
You're going to have to hold the mic really close, because not only do you have a couple hundred people here, there's like thousands online who are watching.
Okay.
So you got to hold that close so they can, right there, and then they get that angle if that's good.
Awesome.
They try not to come from the top because I'm balding. I don't want to get that.
Cool.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions.
All
Is
right.
that, unless you're ready to go and you just want to start sharing? It's whatever. I can drink coffee and you can talk, or whatever you want to do.
This is you're the captain of this vessel.
The captain.
I'm just a passenger.
All right. Just remember to keep that mic up. I'll keep yelling at you about that. So, all right. So let's start with you've been coming to Villa about a year or two.
Yeah, it'd be about 2 years.
Okay. So let's just start with like when you showed up the first time. Do you remember that day?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I do too. Yep.
So I actually showed up roughly, I think it was like 8:30 or 8:40, really early. As you can, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I'm from the South, so normally we start service at 9 o'clock, and we're usually out by like 10 or 11, and start off our days, mornings, something like that. So I showed up here thinking the same thing, and I was the only car in the parking lot for a solid like hour and a half. I actually read the sign posted on the top of the building where it said service starts at 11, and I knew that if I left, I wasn't going to come back. Rewinding past that, I kind of skipped a very important part. Daryl, hey, I see you out there. Can't miss that. He was actually the reason why I came out here. Believe it or not, we worked together, and he gave me the address to this church, and I fat-fingered the address, and actually brought me out. I forget that street, but there's a street that's parallel to here, where it's a bunch of houses, and just used to be a gas station. They tore it down. But yeah, that's where I went, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to church today. It was at like 8 o'clock, so beelined it back, and to the old hospital, for those of you who live in Beach Grove, which is a little ways down that way, is where I stopped, and I just picked a church, and that church was here.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like, Daryl's been inviting him to church. Travis was going through a rough time. This is a difficult season. Wasn't a Christian at the time, right? Is that?
No, sir, I wasn't at all.
Yeah,
I was an atheist.
Yeah, that's what I thought in our first meeting. You let me know that you were not a Christian. You're an atheist. I still remember that conversation. And so Daryl been inviting him to church, and he didn't get the right address, and so he ended up over in Beach Grove. This Google's churches, and there's lots of churches between here and there, and Villa's the one that came up first, so he showed up here that morning. So. Yeah.
I was kind of funny is after me and RT, that was a conversation.
Well, listen, you were having a rough day, and Karen was actually at the church, and she didn't. Where's Karen? I think I can say this. She wasn't sure she should let you in.
Yeah, no, I don't blame her.
I was out picking someone up, and so I came back to church to meet you at the door and unlock the door and let you in. Yeah, when most people don't show up at 8 trying to beat the door down to get in. So it's.
I don't know. When you're lost and desperate, that's literally like the best way I could describe it, being lost and desperate. Like not knowing where or what you should do. I kind of went back to what my mom had told me, and she was like, what does the Bible say do? And I didn't have a Bible. RT actually had to give me his Bible because I didn't have one. When I tell you when I say like atheist, that's an understatement. It was like the past 4 or 5 years, it was a constant battle. Like, I was fighting to not believe. And it was an everyday battle because God refused to not present himself. So for people, if up to me, right? To be an atheist, you have to be so against God that you're willing to fight him every day to disprove him. And that gets tiring. I don't know how they have the energy for it.
Yeah. So you showed up that morning, and we had a great conversation that day. We actually had a connection. Travis is still in the guard with me. We didn't know each other, but that does kind of help with some of the things he's going through, that God does sovereignly brought us together through some mutual connections as well. I knew he'd listen to me that day, since I'm an officer, that I could you need to sit down. So after that day, just talk about how your life changed after coming to Christ, and you got baptized shortly after that. Did you get baptized here, or was it outside?
Oh, I got baptized right
there.
Right
That's
here.
what I thought. Right there. Yep.
I have been attending Daryl and Mr. Bill's class for Sunday school and stuff like that. I've done a few men's group outside of church when I could make it. I have been blessed, to say the absolute least. I know God is still working through me to this day. I've started bringing my daughter here, got her enrolled in Awana. I have since been able to get, a lot of my anxiety, depression, my PTSD, and things like that just from my active duty tour and stuff like that. All of those things, they have been heavy weights on my shoulders, and I didn't know who else to turn to, so I turned to God for that. And due to the help of RT, Daryl, Bill, Topher, Fran, all the people at this church, the community that you guys brought me when I'm so very far away from home, I was able to gain victory over those things. And so I just want to reach out to everyone and say thank you for that, number one. You guys have been helping me so much that I couldn't do it alone, So I'm taking a lot of time.
No, you take all you need. Yep. That's, all right.
I didn't really write down a script for this either, so this is just like off my heart onto y'all. I appreciate the help and support that Villa does for this community, and I want to help with that as much as I can.
Well, I appreciate you sharing this morning and having the courage and the boldness to do that, and appreciate, I think, of Daryl inviting someone to church, and now you're seeing a life change and also generations change because of that. So